Stop telling yourself it's not going to work out if you can't remember a time when it didn't work out. For me, it's always worked out. So why would it be any different? Sam lives in the Barbie fantasy world, how everything's like perfect and there's unicorns and there's puppies everywhere and it's pink and it's fun and like there's no real trauma and drama. I lost my identity. I had no idea who Sam was anymore. I'm now using alcohol as an escape. I, for the first time, understood why people had suicidal thoughts.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Life Unedited, where we have real conversations with real people. Today, I'm talking to the guy behind the screen, the guy who edits all my videos and puts together, the beautiful masterpieces that you see every single time. My guy, Sam. I'm so excited to have you on. I'm excited to talk about your journey and just have this conversation.
I am so honored to be here. I, first of all, love working with you. So the fact that we've been able to stay connected over the last few years and continuously work on projects in and out has been amazing. And I am just excited. And I told you before we started recording, I'm oddly a little nervous just because I edit all of these, so I know how intense these conversations can get. And so I wrote a little list of things. God forbid I need to refer to something. I'm like, I have a list of options.
Yeah, no, it'll be great. I'm stoked. Let's jump into it.
Okay.
Every story has a beginning, right? And here on Life Unedited, I like to start with what I call the preface, which is just a handful of quick, rapid fire questions, just to give us a glimpse of your first page.
Yeah.
And so just say the first thing that comes to mind, and let's do it. Let's jump into it. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee, twice a day.
Twice.
Twice a day, baby. Twice a day.
All right. Morning or night person?
Ooh, I'm a morning person. I start my day at 5 a.m. every day. 5 a.m., dude. It's just clockwork.
Disciplined, huh?
Yep. Very, very, very.
I get it. What's the first concert you ever went to?
Oh, I actually know this answer, and it's so silly because I wish, honestly, I'm editing this, so I'll insert the photo. Was this punk band named Pepper. And my brother, I couldn't tell you what a song title was, but I was in 8th grade and my brother was in his punk rock angsty phase. And my dad, being the chaperone, was like, well, you have to go to this concert with your brother. Because he was 16, but I was 13. And there was this crazy photo of me with my long Justin Bieber grown out swoosh hair with a pepper hat on. And I always refer to that photo as this is what I look like in 8th grade or 7th grade. And so that's how I knew Pepper was my very first concert.
That's hilarious. Interesting. Okay. What's your favorite comfort food?
Oh, dude. Candy, dude. Candy.
Candy?
It's so bad. It's I'm such a health nut, as you know, but audience, hi. Yeah. I'm obsessed with staying in shape and being healthy. But comfort food is just sweets and baked goods and candy. It just, I don't know.
I'm right there with you. Chocolate or sweets, though?
No, chocolate is boring.
Fruity.
Chocolate's amateur hour. I'm talking about dude, cakes. I'm talking about freaking cookies,
pies.
cakes, pie. I'm salivating thinking about it. So yeah. Even candy, gummies and all that stuff. I'm just
yeah, just put it all in front of me. All right. Are you a dog or cat person?
A little bit of both. Definitely dog oriented. I want a dog. But I've learned to accept cats over the years, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. What's the last song that you added to your playlist?
I was so afraid you're gonna ask this question because I'm not kidding you. Every time I've edited an episode, I'm like, thank God that question wasn't for me today, because you would be like, what? Okay, so let's see today, because I also I make seasonal playlists. So let's see what the Bops Fall 2025 playlist is. And the
Bops Fall.
Oh, this is a good one. This is actually great. I feel no shame about sharing this. Thank God it wasn't last week's song. Crazy for This Girl by Evan and Jaron. You know that girl, that song. He looks at her, she looks at me. I'm thinking about her constantly. I saw the movie Twinless last night. Okay, well, it's a 90s, early 2000s smash. But I saw the movie Twinless last night. And it's a song that reoccurs throughout the film in a really funny way. And so now I can't stop thinking about that song. And so I'm in my 90s, angsty alt rock moment today for that song. So yeah.
Yeah. You said it's a good thing I didn't ask you last week. What was last week? Now I
Oh
have
my
to know now.
god. I should have never said anything. You know that song Fight Song? This is my fight
Oh
song.
yes.
I was feeling my like white divorcee suburban female fantasy last week and rocking out to that song.
All right. Well, now that we got a peek at your opening chapter, let's turn the page and get into your story.
All right.
I like to start out with asking this question to everybody, as you know. Tell me who you are beyond your job title. Like, who really is Sam?
Sam is, the best way to phrase this is Sam is a jack of all trades and a master of some. Yeah. I'm a big listener. I'm always listening. I'm gathering data around me. But also I'm a brother. I have three younger sisters and an older brother. I am a lover of life. I truly do love living life. That's what gets me up at 5 a.m. is that, even though sometimes things are really crappy and sucky, I still love to live life. Like today was a day I woke up and I was just like, I love today.
Same.
I'm a rollerblader. So when I'm not editing videos and creating films, I love to rollerblade. And I'm just a friend. I love being someone's friend. I love having friends. I love having best friends and like sharing that connection. I value that a lot in my life. I've been single for a long time and that's okay with me because I have abundance of relationships outside of that I value so much more. I'm also a personal trainer. Outside of video editing too, I just like looked over at my certificate. Yeah, I'm also a personal trainer.
How did you get started in what you're doing now? So like, tell the people what do you actually like? What is your main, I guess, 3 jobs that you do?
Personal training is like my little side fun hustle that gets me away from my desk. That's why I do it. I love it. I love just working out with people and everything. But when people ask what is your career, I am a video production business owner. I own a production business called Copel Productions. What I do in my niche is that I love to help people create content for themselves, for their companies, for personal reasons. Hello, specifically you.
Right. Like a freelancer.
Yes. And I love the fact that I don't feel like a freelancer because I've been so fucking lucky and blessed over the last almost 5 years of doing this that I basically work with the same people. Like I still work with the same people that were my very first clients in 2021. And most of the people that I work with are all connections from those other people. So I rarely ever feel like I have to wake up in the morning and look for work. I'm like always knocking on wood because it could go away in a heartbeat and we'll probably get there when it almost did a couple years ago. But I just work with the best people and it's a consistent thing. And I wake up every morning having a list of things to do for all my clients and my clients feel like my friends. Like I don't see you as a client, Caitlin, I see you as a friend. And we've talked about that.
Likewise. Yeah, definitely.
And I love that about it. My best friend was in my room the other day when I was in a meeting and I just laughed because I knew for a fact when he heard that I had to hop on a quick call, he was probably expecting this like corporate jargon Sam to come out and be all like buttoned up with my client. And me and my client were just like, dropping the F-bomb and just like yapping about things and yapping about this project we're working on. And I was like, yeah, this is my life. And I'm so lucky and blessed that I'm doing what I love to do and I'm doing it with people that I love to do it with.
Yeah. Well, you make it easy as well. You're very personable. Like you're easy to talk to. You're easy to just like be around and just have conversations with. And so that definitely helps with maintaining relationships, but also gaining new relationships, right? People want to introduce people that they know to you because you're so personable. If you were to start today knowing what you know, how would you approach what you do differently?
That's a really great question. And same thing is every time I watch one of your other guests answer it, I always think to myself, how would I answer this? Because honestly, I wouldn't do anything too differently because my parents raised me as a person to be extremely intentional and calculated with everything that you do. My mom was very much, you do something, you do an action. What are the reactions that are going to come after that? What is the ripple effect of all these decisions? And so I've been very like just ingrained of like risk management and like, having a backup plan, et cetera. When I went to college, which it didn't last too long. But when I went to college, it was, okay, let me go to college for a backup plan. I knew I wanted to do what I'm doing right now, But college was, let me get a degree in something, God forbid, my passions of being a creative don't work out. And so when it came to starting my company 5 years ago, there was no question in my mind that was going to happen. It was just going to happen, you know? And so
Right.
if I went back 5 years and talked to Sam 5 years ago, I would say everything that you wanted to happen is happening because you just continuously wake up every day to make it freaking happen. Honestly, the only thing that I would do differently is I would care a lot less about things. I cared so much about being perfect. To this day, I'm like, if something isn't done perfectly, I freak out. And then I think if I just cared less, it would be a lot easier. And I would have to tell myself, and this is what I tell people all the time, even myself every day, stop telling yourself it's not going to work out if you can't remember a time when it didn't work out. Like, it always works out. For me, it's always worked out. So why would it be any different? Like, when I get really stressed about work or something like that, or a project I'm doing like in a personal sense, I think of every negative thing that could go wrong first. Because out of that risk management, you know, trying to figure out, get ahead of things before they happen. But none of those things ever happen. That's not real. That's not real life. That is your anxiety. That is every voice in your head preparing yourself to fall when I'm like, but I'm standing on my legs all the time. I've never fallen. So why am I going to fall now? That makes no sense. I've always won. So let's just remember that, Sam. Like, it always works out for you. When hasn't it? That's right. Exactly. So lock in, shut up, and do your job.
Tell me, like, what's an underrated path into this field that people might not know about? Like, how can they get into this path of yours?
Great question. And the answer honestly is you have to make your own path. You have to build your own door and walk through your own door. That is how I made all of this happen. I learned very quickly, whether I realized it or not. I mean, now I know, but looking back maybe 15 years ago, I still didn't know for sure. But I always had a sense that every time I had to walk into, because I pursued acting as well, the whole through line is that as a kid, I always knew I wanted to do something with video, right? Like, I got my first video camera at 13. And then it just kind of rocked and rolled from there. Did skits and stuff like that, and wanted to be an actor and a comedian, all that stuff. But every single time I had to go into an audition room or an open call, I just never felt right. I always told myself, I don't need to audition for you. Like, as pompous as that sounds, it was more so coming from a place of, I can do this on my own. Because with the whole jack of all trades, master of some brain that I have, I can wear every hat: directing, writing, producing, editing, acting. I can do it all. So it's difficult for me to be in a room where they're asking me to do one thing that I'm not necessarily right for, knowing that I can do it better for myself, serve my soul so much better by doing it on my own. Every single time someone's like, Sam, how have you been running your own business successfully for this many years? Because every day I have the motivation to continue doing it for myself and building these new relationships and keeping these doors wide open for me. I worked for a production studio. It was the best thing I ever did in the worst environment I ever did it in. But it taught me how to be good at what I do. I was hired as a video editor. That was it. Nothing else. The work was so mundane and so inconsistent. I was salaried, so I was like good to go.
Right.
But most people would have just sat down and said, I can sit at this freaking desk all day and get paid and do nothing. What did I do? I said, okay, now let me go into the other studios and watch how to direct. Now let me go and see how budgets work. Let me go cozy up to the producers and see. And I would just sit in everyone else's office when I wasn't doing anything and figuring it out, because I knew this place sucks. Like, these people are awful. But I can do this for myself one day if I just learn how to do it and then get out of here. And that's what I did. I spent 3 years building up my skills. They had no idea I had this master plan. And then when the chance took, Scott Moss, shout out to Scott, he was my very, very first client. And he gave me the opportunity to work with him doing all of his content. And I took every freaking skill I'd learned in the last 3 years at that production studio and applied it to Scott. And I was able to get out and build my business. Yeah. So the moral of the story is, in order to succeed in the video production space, especially in 2025, is you have to build your own door and walk through it. No one's coming to get you. That's just how it is. You know, no one's coming to get you. You got to save yourself.
Very true. This is very true. Would you say there was something that I guess inspired you to even become a video editor or producer? Like what? Why'd you even start?
I love stories. I love hearing people's stories. It goes back to how I love life and I love people.
Yeah,
I was a
yeah.
military kid. So I grew up moving
Oh,
every two
really?
to 3 years my entire life. Yeah, I was born in Hawaii.
I
And
didn't know that.
then just yeah. So I never really talk about it. It's so funny. I'm 34, so much of my life is in the rear view. Like I just don't think about it. I'm so focused on the fact like I'm doing really cool shit right now. Like that's what I talk about. But yeah, so my dad and then when my mom remarried, my stepdad, both in the army. So it was just this constant moving all over the mostly the United States, but I did stay in Europe for a little bit. And I just learned to love people and meet people and like love life. I love people's stories, and that's why I like podcasting. Podcasting is so great because I get to hear people's stories. And like my favorite part about your show is the fact that, and I talked to you about this months ago, is the fact that it's everyday people.
Yeah,
But the amount of
right.
knowledge that these everyday people in
These
life have been
everyday people have.
spilling
Hmm.
is insane. And no
It
one
really
clocks
is.
that. People think, well, I have to go listen to the celebrity podcast to get this. I'm like, oh, this is gonna sound so corny, but this is like really what like the whole thing really is the fact that you think about like when we were cavemen and women, like we were painting stories on fucking walls, dude. Like that's how like we've always been storytellers. Human beings have always been storytellers.
It's a great point. Yeah.
And it's like they were making their own podcast on those cave walls back in the day. Now we're on Riverside.fm recording ours. So that's really what it is that I love capturing life on camera. That's really what it is.
Yeah, yeah, I would say the same. Well, at least that's what I want to start doing, right? Hence why I started the podcast. Who has been the most important mentor or influence in your life? And what's one lesson from them that you think everyone should hear?
This is a question that I dreaded because every time someone else on the show answers it, they have, oh, this person, my old boss, my old teacher, etc. Going the route that I went with my career, I unfortunately didn't have many mentors. I kind of had to figure it out all on my own. I am a self-taught video editor. I am a
Like through and
self-taught
through.
video editor. Like that is how I
Mm,
learned to do what I did. Was that I just said I want to do this. I don't want to go to school for this. Because same thing, like backup plan was an English degree. Still have that English degree. Still
right.
apply that to my life. But like, I was like, I don't want to spend $100,000 on going to school for something that I can go on YouTube and figure out. And like that, I'm sorry not to take a hit on the universities, but there are certain careers you do not need to go to school for. You don't.
I
You
did the same
don't.
thing.
I will
I did
die
the
on that
exact
hill.
same thing.
I know, I know. Oh, I know your story. I love your story. Exactly. Like this is why you and I get along. I'm like, I didn't need to go to school for this. But even the people at my studio weren't mentors because they were all so concerned about what they were doing that again, that's why I was like the little spy Sam learning how to run a production business without them having
Yeah.
any idea that that's what I was doing for 3.5 years. Important pillars in my life would be my family, 100%. My motivation my entire life has been to make my parents proud. I don't know if they know this. I don't know if they're gonna watch this. Hi to mom and dad. I keep letters from them in my nightstand. It's
Hmm.
the thing I've done since I was a kid. Because my parents got divorced when I was 4, and so when my dad would send me birthday
Okay.
cards and all that stuff, I would keep every single card he ever gave me.
I do the same
But
thing.
there's like,
That's hilarious.
dude, no
I
way.
have I have a stack of letters like this from
Yeah.
everybody that's given me a letter in my life, family related, friend related, everything.
Whoa. I've never heard anyone else do that. I do the same. For
Yeah,
like people I don't even remember half the time, and I still
right.
have. Yeah, that's so funny. Okay,
I
all
think
right, I
it's
love
I think it's
that.
because I think it's because I want to look back. Hopefully, I get to an old age. I want to look back and read these things and be like, wow,
Yes,
like just I don't
yes.
know, just something about having writing is like a time
Mm-hmm.
capsule in and of itself,
Oh
especially
my
if
God.
and
Yep.
when people pass. Um,
Yes.
and but I still
Exactly.
have like just being able to like God forbid my mom passes, but the day she does, because she
Totally.
will, um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
being able to see her handwriting and see the things, the messages that she
Yes.
has given me, it
Yep.
just Like, there's nothing better than
Dude,
that.
I am so I am so intentional about when the fact that I'm like writing cards and letters to people, because that's how, like, I mean, most people are on their phones making lists or whatever. Like for my list today, I literally wrote it down. Like I am just that's just how I operate. And so I keep letters in my nightstand of times that my parents were proud of me. Like when I like moved to New
Love
York
it.
City, I still have the card my mom wrote to me about being proud. I was like the letter from my dad from years ago. So there are people that I mean, they didn't mentor me because they half the time they still don't understand how the hell I do what I do. But yeah, I wake up every day and think, okay, how can I make them proud, and
Hmm.
continuously make them proud.
Yeah, yeah. I totally get that. What's the biggest challenge you've ever faced professionally? And how did you overcome it, if there is one?
Hmm. This is where we're getting real.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
knew and I was like, okay, but the day that I'm on the show, I'm gonna have to talk about something that I never probably talk about, but I need to. It's
Hmm.
really important because people know me as like I have like many nicknames. One of them is like, Sam lives in the Barbie fantasy world, like in like the Barbie movie, how everything's like perfect and there's unicorns and there's puppies everywhere and it's pink and it's fun and like there's no real trauma and drama. And yeah, I mean, for the most part, yeah, I'll admit, like I'm a very golden retriever and pretending everything is perfect at all times, because I find talking about this is so funny and silly, but I find talking about bad and sad things boring. I don't
Hmm.
I love
Interesting.
listening to other people like and what they went through. I think it's very important. And it's just ironic that I hate talking about my troubles and woes, because I'm just like, okay, that's not interesting. What's interesting is like how the fuck I made a business work for me and like how I survived this horrible production studio for 3 years. But
Hmm.
2 years ago, 2 years ago, I almost had to close my business down and like shut and turn my life upside down and go move back home for the first time. And because I moved out when I was 18, it was a domino effect of things that like I had no control over. It was straight up like people passing away unexpectedly. I had extreme like just back to back to back fallouts with friends. Lost a friend of 20 years. I mean, it was winter and spring of 2023. Sam was going through it. And then the one thing that always kept me distracted and motivated was having my job. I've always identified part of my life with what my job was. Like in college, when I was going to
Hmm.
school for
Hmm.
English and creative writing, although I was doing all my YouTube stuff on the side for fun and like continuously learning how to video edit, I was working at a convenience store. And like that was part of my personality. It was like Sam works at Wawa. It was called Wawa. Like Sam is the shift manager at Wawa. Like it was part of my identity. And then when I worked at a coffee shop for years, that was part of my identity. And what was happening was that I was losing friends at the same time I'm losing clients that were part of my identity. And when you lose that, you don't fucking realize how dark it can get. You know, uh,
Interesting.
because I tied all of that. I tie so much of my life to the people and the things in it. When you lose a lot of your best friends, and especially ones of 20 years, at the same time that you're losing all your business and your income, how jarring and hard that is. And just straight up, for the first time in my life, I understood what depression was. I never could relate to it. I never could
Hmm.
understand it. It was hard for me to really feel, I don't know, sympathy or empathy for people who like were going through depression, because I just didn't understand how someone who had it all could still be sad. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? You have all anyone would ever want. How are you sad about it? But then,
Huh.
being depressed because I was going broke and all my clients who wanted to still work with me couldn't because of outside factors. It sucked. And I was like just hustling so hard to try to make things work. And then, the natural progression of I've never been a big drinker ever. And the story is
Hmm.
not about being an alcoholic. I just want to preface that. It's like, oh my God, Sam was an alcoholic. It's not that. But when I would drink, I'd be happy. Like the
I
downer of
see. I see.
alcohol, because of how my brain was, it would always make me like, woo, let's go dance. I knew something was wrong when I would be out drinking with my friends and I was getting sad and like started to cry on the dance floor. And like I'll never forget my breaking point was there's
Hmm.
this bar in Hell's Kitchen that used to be, I mean, it's still my favorite bar. It's called Hardware. And it was just, again, a part of Sam's life. Like Sam and Hardware are synonymous. And that would be a place where I just loved to go and dance with my friends and have a great night out. And I had a full on like breakdown on the dance floor at Hardware, realizing like, holy shit, like I'm not happy. Things
Mm.
I'm now using alcohol as an escape. And it's crazy. It's crazy that was my woe. I'm not happy. I'm out with my friends drinking, having a blast, dancing. Everything is fine. But I'm so sad. I'm so sad. I lost friends who I thought were going to be in my life for the rest of my life. I lost
Right.
clients because like people in their life died. Like, whoa, like life is getting so real. Even one of my relatives passed away from cancer. Like it was just so
Oh yeah.
much. And you know, just to be even more real, because this is life unedited, I for the first time understood why people had suicidal thoughts. You
Mm.
know, I then got to that point of whoa, like I think I again, thank God I'm such a hyper aware person of my thoughts, and I'm so grounded in realism at all times that when those
Yeah.
certain voices started to come through, I was able to like be like, flagged it. That's ridiculous. We're not doing that. I started like making really bad choices, nothing crazy, but I was just getting myself involved with people that fucking sucked. And I was just doing it because I was like, well, nothing matters anymore. So let me just like forget about my identity because I lost my identity. I had no idea who Sam was anymore. And so then I broke my lease and moved home, lived at home for the first time since high school. The beautiful part of this story is yes, I literally went home for 6 months and lived at home for 6 months, but Sam came home. Like me being at home recentered what actually matters to me. I was able to build my business back up from the ground, from the literal ashes of my business. I had like one client left, and then I was like, what the fuck are we gonna do? And I, again, thank
It's
you,
awesome.
made it work, did what I always do, and just hustled. Was able to really connect with my family in a way I never had before. And hold on, I'm waiting for the siren to like, I don't know if you can hear the
I can hear
New York City, baby, live from New York.
it.
And so, you know, being able to be home and I returned home and I remembered what mattered to me. I remembered, oh, things I love. I love being a homebody. I hate alcohol. I've always hated alcohol. Yeah, I'll have a drink or two or three sometimes here and there, but I
Right,
don't,
right.
who cares? I'm like, all those people back in New York City who are just like energy vampires. Who cares? What do I care about? I care about telling people stories. I care about being someone who is loyal and dependable. Like I care about all of that stuff. And yes, I went through some horrible things. And that was the darkest point of my entire life because I had gotten to the point where I was like, what do I have worth living for anymore? I found my way home and remembered all of that. And it's so crazy when I look at pictures of myself from that time, it looks like the light was off. And then when I see photos of myself, like last summer when the lights were back on, I'm like, it's crazy that I literally survived. I literally survived. And I found joy. I found joy in life again. And this is one thing that I keep next to me all the time. This is my coaster. Shout out to my friend Karina who gave this to me on my 29th birthday. But it says choose joy. And
Hmm.
I have this on my desk. It's a coaster, but I see it every day and it reminds me that that is if like on my gravestone, headstone, tombstone, whatever it's called, it's gonna say choose joy. Because that is the course of it. As I lost joy for a long time. But then I remembered it. And that's why, you know, I have such a much more patient personality and more empathetic and sympathetic personality these days, is that you just never know what the fuck someone's going through. Ever, ever. You would never know. No one. Now they
It's
do.
true.
Hi, world.
Yeah.
But no one would have ever known that I was going through what I was going through.
Yeah, yeah.
Never, never. Because one, I just don't talk about the part of my life because I think it's boring. But two,
It's not.
because you just always want to pretend that everything's perfect and it's not. And that's okay. Let it go. Let care less. Rant
Yeah.
over. Rant over.
Yeah. No, you touched on so many great things and I love thank you for sharing that by the way. It's
Of
a
course.
great story for just who Sam is and who you are today, right? Like that's a big pivotal moment in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Um and like what you touched on, having just the self-reflection and uh just I guess yeah, the awareness to know that like I'm in this position, I'm in this spot, but it doesn't define me. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and this clearly isn't me. This isn't the real Sam. This is just the Sam that's losing his identity
Yes.
because of outside factors that you can't control.
Yeah.
Um, but then being able to pick yourself back up and and roll with the punches and just keep going. But I think that also like going back to your family, I'm assuming that was probably the thing that just catapulted you back up. Because imagine if you never
Totally.
went back, right? Like, and that just goes
Totally,
to show
dude.
how important family is.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoever you call family, right? Whether that is
Yes.
blood related
Totally.
or
Hmm.
just friends.
Yeah.
I think yeah, it's super important. But let's flip the page a little bit and talk about the parts of life outside of your career that have shaped you. And so I want to ask, do you carry any lessons from your upbringing into how you live your life now?
My English teacher, my senior year of high school, shout out to Miss Rinaldi. Hi, how are you? She taught me a quote, and it's "You can be." Hold on, let's pause again for the sounds of New York City blasting through one more time.
Put some elevator music in the back.
Okay. You can be the ripest, juiciest peach, and there is still gonna be someone who hates peaches. And it's like, whoa. You can be
Mm,
the best of the best, and there's still going to be someone who's like, I acknowledge that this thing is the greatest. I still don't like it. That's always stuck with me because it reminds me that not everything is for everyone.
it's true.
Not everything is for everyone, and that doesn't mean it's bad. It's just not. It's like someone's favorite song doesn't mean it's a bad song because I don't like it.
Right.
It's not for me.
It's just not for you. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that
great.
is one of the biggest nuggets of knowledge I have picked up over the years for sure.
It was. Hmm. How do I ask this question? This one actually is just off of the dome.
Okay, okay,
Um,
all right.
what is a relationship um, that has changed you, maybe for better or for worse?
I smile because I know the answer immediately.
I know you do.
Is my if he's gonna listen to this, I'm gonna tell him to listen to this. I'm like, if you're gonna listen to anything, just scroll to the 35-minute mark. Is my friendship with my best friend Tyler.
Mm,
He came into my life at a time when I was absent of a lot of friends, i.e., the story I shared earlier. And I knew Tyler through friends for a couple years. Fun fact: we tried to date, it didn't work out. So then we lost touch for a while. And then
yeah,
as
yeah.
the universe, because I'm a big believer in the universe and everything, we were brought back together through the same friends. And we're like, oh yeah,
Interesting.
we should be friends. We should actually be friends. Like
Right.
dating didn't work out, and it wasn't anything. We was like maybe like 1 or 2 days. It was nothing like crazy. And then as just life goes, we just naturally got close because then when I moved back to New York City after being home, I moved a block from him, and we both work for ourselves essentially. So we always like needed help with things, like whether it was like a self tape for him or like I was like, hey, can you help me bring this fucking couch upstairs? And then like this like natural progression grew until now we're literally best friends. And we did the short film last year. We're doing the film right now together.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he has taught me. And he knows this. I'm the sappy one in the friendship. Like he's the black cat. I'm the golden retriever. He's very much like, I don't like to show emotion. And I'm like, I love you so much. I
Right.
appreciate your friendship so much. He's like, but he has really taught me because it's so funny. On paper, our friendship makes no sense. He likes to go out to party. He doesn't drink. He's like strictly sober, but he still likes to go out to a good party. He just dabbles in a lot more things than I do. Like, even though we both are homebodies at heart, we love being comfy in a sweatshirt and sweatpants, taking a little bit of edible and just like watching TV together. He
Yeah,
just
yeah.
does a lot of things with his life that I would never do. And on paper, it makes no sense. But then I'm like, oh, it's because I respect him and I love him. But he has really taught me that the differences you have with someone could be the reasons why you work so well. Like
I like that.
truly
A,
is what it is.
a
And
true yin and yang relationship.
yes, yes. And the hilarity is, and I can say this, is that he tends to have a very impatient personality. He likes things quick, no bullshit, da, 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 da. And I mean, it's similar, but I'm much more patient. But he has taught me to be patient with impatientness. It's really funny because you just said, change you for good or for the worse or whatever. And with Wicked, the musical Wicked, which is one of our favorite musicals, like his favorite musical, like it's a whole lore in our friendship. There's that song at the end that's called like For Good, and it's the two witches singing like how they are so fucking different, but they change each other's lives for good.
Yep.
And I know that when we go to see that movie in a month, I'm going to be sobbing my eyes out watching that with him, because I'm going to be thinking like, you changed my life for good. Like Tyler saw me when no one else could. Like he sees me and I see him in ways that I know that other people don't. And I love that about it. I love that about our friendship, is that we
That's deep.
Yeah, it's, dude, I mean,
that's deep.
Like I wouldn't call him my brother because I feel like calling someone like my brother is like too like serious, but that's how it feels. He feels family. I mean, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that though. And that's just, like I said, it's deep, but it's like, I don't know, I feel like that's the whole reason why we're here on this earth to begin with, and why like that's what human beings want at the end of the day, is those connections with people. In those moments, like that's what makes life. How has love in any form shaped the way you see yourself or others?
That is what are these deep questions? I know you warned me.
I know.
Damn. Let's see. Love has shaped me. Again, because I grew up so privileged and lucky and blessed. I've never not known love. I think about the fact that when I came out, it was like, great, next topic, we're moving on. Like there was no beat skipped. It was like, first of all, they were like, Sam, thank God you said what we've all been saying for years. But it's like beyond that. It was like, I've never not known that love is the right way to approach your life. It's like, it's like, I think about when I get so pent up about something, right? And so frustrated about something. And what makes me feel like crap is when I'm ruminating and thinking about like the worst of the worst, or like thinking so ill of someone. But then the second I started thinking about the positives and like approaching things with joy and love, whatever, I'm like, oh, I feel better. It's like, yeah, because I don't know. I mean, like, hateful people I find so low vibrational, and it's like, I'm like, this is loser behavior. Like, first of all, grow up. Like, stop being such a hateful person. Like, this is and so it's like, because I've been surrounded by so much love my entire life, and that's all that I know. That's why I'm who I am today. It's like, I'll never forget. This is actually really crazy to think about. Never forget when I lived in Belgium, and I was 6 or 7, and we were in the car outside of the high school, or the elementary school. And I remember it was the first time in memory I saw a mixed couple. And because I was like 6 years old, I didn't like understand life yet. I remember saying to my mom, and I remember saying, Mom, like, because they had been holding hands, some sort of implication that they were together, right?
Together,
and and I remember being like, Mom, like that's so crazy. Like I can't believe. She's like, what do you like? What is crazy? Like, what are you talking about? She's like, that's just they love each other. Like that's all that matters. Like that's allowed, Sam. Like people of different skin colors are allowed to be together. Like that's just it. And then I was like, okay. And then I moved on with my life and never thought about it. But I remember that as a kid was the first time that
It's interesting.
I don't know, because honestly, Belgium was when my memory first started to form, because we moved there when I was 5. So like that's like kind of when like memories start to form. And probably because I was in white ass Belgium, like I didn't see too many other, ethnicities. So maybe like that had to do with it. I don't know. But I was like, oh, it's a person with a different skin color. Mom, what is that? And she was like, that's just two human beings existing. And my mom, I guess, and I mean, she was obviously intentional about that, but that's okay. And they just love each other, and that's all that matters.
Right.
Move on. And that's what it was.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Great. And then
Interesting. What an interesting little memory. So we've talked about your work. We talked about your relationships, the lessons that shaped you. Before we, close this chapter, I want to leave people with one piece of you that they might not normally see. I know we kind of talked about a little bit of that already, but just one
Mhm.
last thing. Um, and this one it's a simple question, but it can get deep. Um, when was the last time you truly felt at peace? And what made that moment possible?
I always knew the answer to this one. Every single time one of your guests or you asked your guest this question, the answer, I always knew what my answer was going to be. And I kind of touched on it earlier. But truthfully, the moment that I knew that I was at peace was the day that I was able to give my 2 weeks notice to that production studio and say, I
Mm,
quit. I'm going to go live my life now, thanks to Scott and my other clients that I had at that point. And I'll never forget waking up that first morning of not having to go to that office. And I was working for myself and I had won. I had won. Caitlin, I won. Like another day, even if just the two of us off camera, like I would love to tell you about the insanity that was working at that production studio. Like that it was terrible for my health. Like it was crazy. I won in that moment because I worked my fucking ass off to make it happen. And like I told you, I told myself, I'm doing this thing. And then I did it. And
you
then I
did
got
it.
to
That's
leave.
the best
And
feeling.
then I woke up on fucking, I remember it was May 1st, 2021. And I woke up and I was able to just, for the first time in years, dude, years, just and then I went on with my day. And I never looked back. And my life has been nothing but full of abundance since. Even when shit was
We,
really bad in
yeah,
2023, like it was, I look back, I'm like, that had to happen. That had to happen. Because I think the universe had to remind me, as shitty as it is, remind me of the things that I actually had. And and
mm,
and, and remove things that were not going to serve me. I think I was clinging on to
right,
things in my life because I was comfortable with them, including friends of 20 years, instead of
yeah,
just letting things go and making room. Like, dude, if none of that ever happened, I would not be sitting here today in this room in New York City. I would not. I wouldn't have Tyler as my best friend. I wouldn't be making my first feature film. Like, none of that would have happened had all that really bad shit happened. And so I remember that feeling of peace of waking up that morning and thinking, Sam, you won.
mm.
Sam, you fucking won. So yeah,
We have a lot of similarities. A lot. I
I
think
know. I
May of
love it. I love it.
2021. Yeah, I think May of 2021 was when I had also quit my job at Apple because I hated what I was doing.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but that's awesome. That's a great answer too. And so I mean, yeah, that's great. Thank you for sharing that.
Of
Um,
course.
and thank you as well for being here, Sam. I appreciate it.
Of
It
course. Yeah.
was it was great having you on. I do want to give you the opportunity real quick. If you have
Hmm.
something you want to shout out, new
Yeah.
or upcoming,
Yeah.
anything that's going on, yeah,
Hmm.
let the people know.
Sure. I have a lot going on, as you know. So you can check out my website, Copel Productions, Kopel Productions.com. Has all my information, all my favorite projects that I've done. Yeah, and I'm currently in the middle of production of my very first feature film called In Another Life, which is the sequel to my hit short film last year, Ruin My Life. And it's just really freaking cool because I am doing it alongside my best friend Tyler, and we're working, excuse me, we're working with the best people that we could get our hands on. So it's just really, really cool. We crowdfunded over $20,000 already to make it. It is just such an amazing experience. So that's what I have going on. And I may seem like the busiest person in the world, which I am, but I'm always looking for new work. I'm always looking for new clients. I like to work with people, see where those working relationships go. So if you watch this and you're curious and you maybe want to work together, hit me up. Maybe we can make something work and happen. So that's that. And I
He's
just want to say
awesome.
thank you so much for having me on, Kaylin. I love you. You're
Of
the
course,
best. I like working
love you
together. I
too,
always get
man.
excited when stop telling yourself it's not going to work out if you can't remember a time when it didn't work out. For me, it's always worked out. So why would it be any different? Sam lives in the Barbie fantasy world, how everything's like perfect and there's unicorns and there's puppies everywhere and it's pink and it's fun and like there's no real trauma and drama. I lost my identity. I had no idea who Sam was anymore. I'm now using alcohol as an escape. I